Legends, welcome back to another live stream. We are going to find out where are the best opportunities for Bitcoin, but first of all, make sure to smash up that like button on your way in here for this live stream. We're going to analyze the S&P 500. We're going to analyze Bitcoin here on the daily and also on the 4-hourly. Sorry, checking out these levels that we're just hitting. All right, we almost hit that $46,000. We just hit 45.5. And you know, one of the main reasons why we got rejected from this range, okay, it is the ultimate low bottom here from the support that we did have in December. Okay, we were bouncing very nicely at that 45.5, as you can see here, bouncing as support. Now we currently just touched 45.5 on the actual, you know, pip right there. And also from this major consolidation right there, from the start of the drop right there, if we take a look at the fib levels from the top to the low part over here, taking a look Fibonacci from the high to the lows right there, we are exactly hitting that golden pocket range, that 618 right over here. Great opportunity for a short position, okay, just right there, just underneath the 46k levels. Now I didn't take this short position. I think it's looking pretty bullish. I am in a long position right now, and I'm planning to add to my position, and I'm going to explain why in this episode. Okay, I think it's very likely that we're going to see some price continuation, and like I said, the 41.5 range right there where we did have this consolidation, if we retrace down to the 41.5, I am planning to add to my position. I have a very small position here on Bybit, very small, and I'm planning to add to my position, okay, if we are going to go to lower levels. Like I said, this was a strategy that I mentioned yesterday. If you have $1,000 you know, to trade with, then if you want to get into, you can't always get into a perfect entry, okay, sometimes you can if you're patiently waiting for those levels and price action. But if you have $1,000, you can always use $100. If the price goes lower, you can add up $100, you know, to get a better position. Now, like I said, I think in my personal opinion, we are going to see higher levels here on Bitcoin. Yes, of course, we could retrace down to this major support level. Now, why is the 41.5k a major support level? Because here, take a look at the VPVR right there. Is, you know, where we do have this massive big peak right there. It's at the 41.5 levels approximately. This is this massive consolidation that we had around this level, and this is where we consolidated just a few days ago when we had this massive pump with volume, and we went sideways here for a couple of days. So I believe so that it's very likely that if we do come down to this range, we could see a little bit of volatility, but it should be holding nicely before having another potential leg to the upside, guys. Okay, very cautious because we are very close to the high here that we did create just this morning. So a little bit of a risky one, guys, but I have the feeling that this might have some pumpy action in the next coming days. My personal opinion, guys, let me know in the comment section. What do you think? Let me go here straight away in the comment section. Let me just say hello here to everyone. Thank you very much for joining. We're going to take a look, like I said, Bitcoin, S&P 500. We're going to take a look at some altcoins also. So yeah, let me just go through here. Will BTC complete its retracement to 42k? It says Moin. This is the thing. Will it retrace all the way down to 42k? I do see Bitcoin having a lot of steam. Okay, it can even break 46k levels, and it can go to much higher levels. I do think that there is a possibility that Bitcoin, and we can go to this chart over here, Bitcoin does have a possibility to reach these highs, this next major resistance zone. Bitcoin is here to surprise everyone, and I think, you know, there is a lot of bullish momentum that could happen in the next coming days. I think the retracements are going to be relatively small or consolidate, like I mentioned. What I believe so with my analysis here, starting the trend, a new potential trend to the upside. Usually when you start new uptrends, then the consolidations. The retracements are very, very, very small. They are very small when you have an excellent run up for the next coming, couple of weeks, potentially, maybe 1 week, who knows? But usually you do have these very strong run-ups. And what targets can we have here for Bitcoin if we are at the very, very start of a new potential run-up? Well, I think the 46K is going to be relatively easy to break this area over here. We're just having to stop major resistance. We might consolidate here for a little bit and then have the next major leg up in the next coming days. I think this is definitely a very, very good take profit area. I'm talking about the 52, 53K levels. You might get Bitcoin having a wick here to the upside just to gain that high, this lower high over here, this high over here. Bitcoin likes to gain these levels, right? You might have thought that 40K level was going to hold, but no, you have a massive, massive crash down all the way down to 33K levels. So maybe you think, I don't think Bitcoin is, not going to go above $53,000. Well, this is what I think, that you might have, a potential kind of short squeeze, liquidity grab to the upside, breaking above slightly $53,000 approximately. And that would be my next target here for the next coming weeks. It might take a few days. It might take a few weeks. Nobody knows. But that would be my realistic target, taking a look at fib levels from the high to the low. This is in between 50% and the golden pocket right there. So it's in between 50, 618, you got 50.8K and 55K. So potentially some volatility at that range is what I think is going to happen, in my personal opinion. So stay cautious, don't risk more than you're willing to lose, of course. It's crazy market right now. I am sticking here to the bullish side. Yes, it's not cool to long this. It would be nice to see some retracement. But like I mentioned, very small retracements is very, very likely if we are starting a major uptrend, okay? I know a lot of people are going to become bullish once we are trading at these levels, around that 50K level, just above 50K. A lot of people are going to become very, very bullish at that range. So might as well try and catch the beginning of the trend, right? We want to try and catch the beginning of the trend and ride this wave to the upside. Let me go here quickly through the comment section. Hello there, Tech JK. How are you doing? Oil prices gonna likely soar next week. Expect a reaction from governments. Absolutely. Gasoline here in Spain is gone through the roof. It's at its highest level since 24 years ago. I think it's €1.70, the liter of 95 of gasoline, of petrol. Hola, Robbie, how are you? Jagadish, hi Andy, hello, how are you doing? Static, how are you doing? Dennis, how are you? I got Mark Dutch here in the comment section. I want to try and say hello here quickly to everyone. I wasn't, HOGE was a rug or honey pot. HOGE, I wasn't able to withdraw my investment. HOGE, I have no idea what this one is. Was this like a private sale from a crypto? HOGE, what is it? HOGE Finance, right. Oh, HOGE Finance. Okay, I guess this is a meme coin. Yeah. Feel sorry for you, man. Moin, if you want to give TA advice, start your own channel. To Moin says. Much love from Boston. Thank you very much, Maz. Thanks for joining in. When is the next metaverse hype is going to be? Do you know about Seek? No, I have no idea. Still a long way till we have the next metaverse hype, in my personal opinion. Great content on spot, says Kel. Thank you very much. Put in a long trade for BTC. I have a very small long position right now. Okay, I am in a small long position right there. I will be adding to my position if we do correct down to that 41.5. Okay, long position is there. Not doing any trading on Prime XBT, but the S&P 500 is looking very nice in my personal opinion. I think we are going to retest these highs in a matter of a few days, potentially before the end of the week. Let's see if we can get to slightly lower levels But my take here on the S&P 500 would be longing at this range where we're currently at. Insane amount of support right there. And I think, you know, just because this is going to be the start of a new uptrend also potentially, we're probably just hitting that, you know, 382 Fibonacci retracement. This is what usually happens. This is the most common retracement when you're starting an uptrend, okay? When you having a massive downtrend and you're just about to start an uptrend, a lot of people might think, I'm going to wait for the 50 or the 618 Fibonacci retracement to ride this waves. But the start of the waves, you know, the retracements are usually very, very small, and then they get pretty high. And this is potentially when you are going to start correcting. So my plan is to get into the small retracements. It is very, very likely, I think, in my personal opinion, that S&P 500 will start pumping from these levels. Matter of fact, yeah, I might be putting a long position here on the S&P live. Let's see if we're going to have a small correction right there. So long position is in, and I'm planning to add to my position here. Okay, I'll be planning to add to my position, you know, if we do have a retracement. So yeah, that is my game plan here. Remember, you got the best deal down below. You get up to $4,100 worth of bonus, okay, for Bybit. And for Prime XBT, you get 7% added to your deposit. I will be reached. I have a long position from 34K. Absolutely amazing. Good job. Well done. Well done. If you're longing from 34K, that is absolutely fantastic. Matt, what impact on crypto does the price of oil have? Oil set to soar next week, apparently. I don't think, yeah, gold doesn't have much correlation with crypto and markets, basically. Hi, Andy. Always look forward to your live videos. Thank you very much, Mike. Is BTC still correlating with S&P 500? Says Plantosonic. Yeah, absolutely. There is some kind of correlation in between the S&P 500 and Bitcoin. That is for sure. So I'm relatively bullish on the S&P 500. I think we could see some bullish weeks. This is just inside of a correction, and I think we should see some more bullish momentum. That is my personal opinion here on the S&P 500. Finally, I could join the live stream from Brazil. Thanks very much for joining. Let's take a look at DAR, please. For Junie, let's take a look at DAR straight away. What is DAR? Let's take a look at DAR right away. Let's take a look at DAR straight away. What is this cryptocurrency? Yeah, I have no idea what this one is. Dark, no, it's not this one. Mines of Dalania. Yeah, no idea what this one. Mines of Dalania. This is just having a massive correction and probably finding a flaw. Not much to analyze on this one. Bull trap, colossal dump imminent, says Rene Montenegro. Oh, Rene here has been calling a bull trap since we were at $39,000. It went all the way up to 45K. So yeah, it did pump 6K since you said it was a bull trap. So maybe is it a bull trap now? Potentially. I think we do see some bullish momentum in the next coming days. All right. Like I said, why would this be a bull trap? I mean, volume is not extremely great, but we are getting above this major resistance. We are breaking the low high trend. You know, this could be the start of a potential new bull trend, all the way at least to about 52, 53K levels. Then here we could roll back down. This is the deal. I think Bitcoin doesn't have enough steam in the next coming weeks to actually reach the highs. Maybe yes, maybe no. We will have to analyze the price action. But I think another potential leg up is very likely. I think, you know, very likely we are breaking major levels. So yeah, I think consolidation at this range and then another leg up, I think it's very likely. We need to get people very bullish. People not that bullish right now. So we need to get, you know, people extremely bullish. You know, people at $52,000, $53,000 are already going to call for all-time highs, okay? And this is what we want. We want people going extremely bullish. and you're not going to get people extremely bullish at these levels. I think the whales know how to play the game, and they will push the price up a lot till you get extremely bullish, calling for all-time highs, and then you potentially can roll back down. You will be creating just another lower high right there, and then the price will come back down. Okay, so that is my deal. Okay, why would people, you know, be extremely bullish here? I think a lot of people are still very scared and still, you know, don't think that we are going to have a bullish trend. People will get bullish at the very top, okay, when you have this massive bullish momentum, and then, you know, a lot of people are very bullish, and that is potentially when you are going to roll over. That is my personal opinion. By looking at the charts here, we could have a small shift here, a small change of the trend. That's what I think could happen. $2.20 per liter here, says Mark Dutch. Wow, that's absolutely insane. Absolutely insane, really expensive. Hi Andy, thank you for your analysis. Can we look at AVAX, says Conium? Absolutely, we can take a look at AVAX straight away. Let's take a look at AVAX, see what's going on. AVAX had a pretty nice pump here, pretty nice pump to a major level that we had, getting a massive rejection. This is looking at the daily. So we know that AVAX, you know, had that bounce at the all-time high from February. Nice consolidations. We came straight back down from here. Got a massive bounce. I would stay very cautious here. You can already see on the price that we are getting that massive rejection. Lower high right there, lower high, and, you know, look at the trend line. This is where we almost hit to the exact pip. So stay very cautious. That would have been a good shorting opportunity right there, because you are creating these, you know, lower highs right over here. So maybe a consolidation and a potential another leg up is possible. I think this $75 is going to be very strong support on AVAX. Let's take a look. Wow, big volume. So yeah, if AVAX does managed to come down to $75. Let me just zoom in here on the 4 hourly. Check out the big spike in volume right there. If it corrects a little bit more, it would be a great buying opportunity in my personal opinion. First bounce, in my opinion, is always good for a potential buy. Okay, first bounce of a resistance or a support is good for a buy, and we do have pretty high volume. So yeah, doesn't look too bad. It doesn't look too bad. We basically got rejected from the lower high trend line, as you can see right there, almost touched it, and we've also got resistance from this level over here. This is why I do have this green horizontal line there, just basically hitting the top of this retracement and the bottom bit of this this bounce that we had here. So this is currently, that would have been a great shorting opportunity right there. Yeah, my deal here is that if AVAX retraces down to this range, I think a potential big bounce at this level is very likely, and create a higher low, continue to the upside potentially. And then yeah, my target would be retesting this high again, retesting the high. This is the thing, we might create a double top and continue down. Remember, we are still having massive you know, selling pressure. We are in a big downtrend, so shorting right there, that major big pump that happened this morning, basically that would have been a great short area, and you are looking to target this range over here, that $75 potentially in hours, or maybe just a day or two. That would have been a great short right there, just so you can see the major levels. But Andy, can you take a look at India coin? Says Asiman. India coin. I'm not sure what. India? Yeah, India coin. Is that WRX? I think is an Indian coin. Wazirx. Let me know in the comment section if that is the one. Rene Montenegro is back. Yes, he is calling for a bull trap. Maybe. But I remember he was saying it was a bull trap at 39k. It jumped 6k to the upside. Hello Andy, how are you? I am doing very well. K Sky, how are you doing? Thank you for joining the stream. Smash the like button for our little bearish divergence. Thank you very much, King Kiao. Let's take a look at the 4 hourly bearish divergence here from King Kiao. Let's take a look at BTC. BTC 4 hourly right over here. Let's take a look at this chart, and let's take a look at the potential bearish divergence RSI here. Let's take a look. Bang, bang, bang. 1 second. Let me just get this out of the way. They've added a moving average here on the RSI that is not needed. Bearish divergence on the 4 hourly. Yeah. Okay, slightly. If you're looking at these peaks, very aggressive right there. Very short amount of time. So you do have, you know, this lower high right there. Yeah, higher highs just right there. So there are some bearish divergence here in the immediate short term. Now, what could happen to BTC? Where could we retrace? Where could we bounce? You know, this is the main reason why we're doing analysis, right? Where could we take advantage? And you know, that 45.5, I thought 46k was going to be hit, but it would have been an insane shorting opportunity just right there, because you are basically hitting that major support. Look how many times we've bounced from this level and we've just touched it right there. That would have been, you know, trying to get in pretty aggressively for a short position. And, you know, your question might be, but where do I take profits from this short position? Well, a good take profit area, if you take a look at this consolidation, this is a start of a pump right there. You can take a look at these fib levels. So 0.5, even the golden pocket range, you know, already being take profit areas. You don't know if you are going to come down to this consolidation. So already, you know, 50%, 618 from the start of this pump. If you are shorting from this major resistance, you need to take profits at these fib levels, because you might get a pretty big bounce. That is my take, you know, when I'm trading fib levels and resistance and support. But it's pretty curious how all of this confluence that we're talking about, you know, from the highs also right over here to the lows, it is basically touching that 618, 65 fib levels. You know, these two lines, horizontal lines that I've got there, look how we touch it. This is why fib levels sometimes work like magic. They work like magic from this high to the low. Fib levels, and you are getting that correction right there from the range. It is also, you know, bounces, support, and if you take a look at the VPVR, it is the very start. It is the very start of the mountain just there. This is currently where you're getting that bounce. Absolutely like magic. So my take here, if we are going to continue this bull trend, and we are going to get people very bullish to 50k, 53k, I personally think that those levels can be reached, and that is the moment where people are going to be talking bullish everywhere on Twitter. So that is my deal here. I think we need to I am personally going to try and take advantage of this long position. My ultimate longs would be at 41.5 if we do reach those levels. And stop loss, this is the thing, stop loss is very good. I'll have to take a look at the stop loss here on this chart, where we do have most of the most important levels. Yeah, I think a realistic stop loss would be below the 39k levels. You got an insane amount of support right there. Are we going to manage to come down here? Potentially, yes. Potentially it could reach those levels. But I am planning to add to my position. My strongest position would be all the way here at 41. If I entered a position here at 43k levels, and we do come down, I am going to be adding till I have a big position here at this level, okay? Because of the VPVR, because of this consolidation. You know, we do have consolidation right here, and one of the biggest spikes here on the VPVR. And if we take a look at, you know, the start of this pump starts right here from this retracement all the way up here. I am looking for that 3.8, because when you're starting a trend, sometimes you don't come back down to the golden pocket range from the start of a pump. You usually, you know, the most common one from the start of a potential new uptrend is the 382. 382 is the most common if you are, you know, at the very beginning of an uptrend. So that is my take on Bitcoin, guys. You know, a lot of people might think this is just a big fat fake out and it's going to roll back down. It potentially can, but this is why we are not risking more than 2-3% of our capital, and we always use stop losses. Right, I've got a super chat here from Chris Pfizer. Cheers from cold Germany, mate. Any TA idea for BENKY? TIA. Thank you very much for the €5, my man. Chris Fezler from cold Germany. Let's take a look at BENKY. I have no idea what this crypto is. BENKY QI. Let's take a look at this one. I have no idea what this one is. I will do a little bit of research. It's on the AVAX blockchain, so we'll have a look at this one afterwards. We can take a look at QI US dollar here on the charts, see what we can see here. It's currently at 7.8 cents. Let's take a look at this one. Zoom out on the daily. It's in a massive downtrend right now. Could it be recovering from these levels? It potentially could. I think we don't have any much price data here on BENKY. Yeah, not much price data. We can't take a look at much levels. BENKY, it's on KuCoin. We do have some more charts on KuCoin. Right, just looking at the VPVR here on the 4 hourly. Let's go back to the daily. Biggest point of control, you can see it here at the 12 cents because you've had a massive big consolidation. This is back in, you know, September, October lows right there. Big consolidation, big consolidation right there. It's going to get heavily resistance at that level. Okay, just to keep it simple, look at the spike right over here on the VPVR. The reason why we got this spike is because of the massive big consolidation that we do have at that range. So in this crypto BENKY, I would become extremely bullish as soon as we get above the 12 cents. If it gets above 12 cents, you know, it's going to be very bullish for BENKY. This support level is going to be absolutely insane. It's got a massive rejection here. If we take a look at BENKY on the 4 hourly, big wicks, a lot of volatility. Yeah, I would stay a little bit cautious on this one. A little bit cautious in a big downtrend. This maybe is just the correction from this downtrend, and it can continue back down. Okay, I would become bullish for trading this as soon as it gets above this major cluster of consolidations right there. Biggest spike on VPVR. You get above this range, it is full bull mode. Not yet though, because we are below the strongest resistance here for BENKY, which is at that 11-12 cent area. Just to keep it pretty simple. Still in dangerous level. What have I missed? Are we longing the top 125x? Yeah, funny enough, I am bullish. Thank you so much, Andy. Chris Besler, you're very welcome. Can you say for traders? Andy, can you please take a look at Chromia and Digibyte? Let's take a look at Chromia straight away. Chromia, US dollar. Chromia tether. Here we got one. Let's go to the daily. Well, Chromia, what have we got for Chromia? We are hitting, you know, these, not summer lows, sorry, this is the December lows. We're getting a beautiful bounce, but keeping it clear here for Chromia, it is just creating consistent lower highs. We retested the support. We're just getting a support here at that 50 cent level. Very strong level here for Chromia. Major resistance turning into support. This is looking pretty bearish, if you ask me. This is inside of a big retracement, and it's just creating lower highs. Lower high. Very likely that we are going to create a lower high right there here for Chromia. If we do take a look at this range, you know, this is currently where we are getting resistance. My personal opinion is that Chromia is going to get rejected from this range and come back down to retest the lows. Looking at Chromia, I think this is, yeah, If Chromia does manage to get above this 65-70 cent range, you know, where it has been support, it's getting resistance right now. So if it gets above that level, that is going to be a major level for a long position potentially right there. Looking but it's looking bearish. All right, it's in a downtrend. It still has a lot of work to do to have a potential new uptrend. S&P over 4,500 points again. Let's take a look. S&P 500, yeah, above 4,500 points. I am relatively bullish on the S&P 500. This is my, you know, my deal here on the S&P 500. Like I mentioned, this big spike on volume on the S&P, and this was longed. Okay, very successful trade here, almost $1,000 in profit. I had this trade open for a couple of days, and very good, nice trade right there. Rode it all the way up here to this major resistance zone. Now my take here on the S&P 500, just thanks to this is billions and billions of dollars here poured into the market to you know, to defend this level that I'm talking about, the 4,300 point area, 4,300, 4,250 points, this range over here. And like I said before, it is very likely to all of these resistance touches is going to be very likely defended here, and we are going to get a massive bounce, you know, in the next coming days. Very likely, very likely. Why? Because, you know, reason number one is because of this massive big volume, the bulls defending this major zone over here. And if we take a look at the most common retracement from the start of the pump to the high, you know, the most common retracement is the 382. When you're starting a pump, you are getting beautifully bounced at that level, you know, so it's very likely to be defended and continue to the upside. I am ready to long S&P 500 at that range. Let's see if we can see another leg down and I can catch that, the upside. Someone told Andy to sell all his Digibyte. Oh yes, exactly. Mark Dirch did. And I did sell at 4.2 cents, something like just on top of 4 cents. It's currently trading at, is it 2.5 cents? I'm not sure what Digibyte is right now, but it got absolutely slaughtered. I got a bunch of Digibyte back in, I'm not sure if it was 2020 right now. It must have been somewhere around 2020. I got a huge bag at 1 cent, just at 1.2 cents. It did over a 10x because it went to 14 cents or 15 cents approximately. I rolled it all the way down at 4 cents. So I only sold it at a 4x. Yeah, not even a 4x. It's currently trading at 2.5 cents. Very sad Digibyte. Very sad performing crypto. It's one of those OGs that I wanted to hold, but yeah, we need to get into these innovative cryptos. And I made huge gains on Metis DAO. Saito, not too much gains. There's just over a 2x now on Saito. I did over a 5x on Metis DAO and sold a big bunch of it. Sold 50% actually just before the drop. This was an absolutely spot on sell on Metis. I bought most of my Metis at $43. And yeah, it sold 50% just here because the market was looking, yeah, it was holding by a thread basically. But I still hold 50% of my Metis that I bought, still up 3x. You know, very cool project, layer 2 for the Ethereum blockchain. Right, let's take a look. Digibyte, I think Digibyte. The thing is, Digibyte is consolidating right now at the strongest point of control. This is an area where it has been trading for ages. You can see here back in 2020, you know, in between April and January of 2021, it has been trading at that, you know, 2-3 cent level right over here. You've also got a lot of trading volume right there, you know, in 2017, also in 2018, bouncing at that 2.5 cent level. And this is why you have the biggest, strongest point of control. It is very likely, in my personal opinion, that, you know, we're not going to go much lower here for Digibyte. Digibyte is not going to go much lower. So if you are bullish on Digibyte, it is starting to be an accumulation zone, okay? These cryptos come back, guys. Look at this. You know, imagine Digibyte all the way up down, you know, in 2019, part of 2020. It's just, you might have thought that this crypto is dead, but this one did a 10x, over a 10-15x, you know, just, you know, about a year, several months after this major accumulation zone. So it might take several months, but it will come back, in my personal opinion. So if you are bullish on Digibyte, you know, this is the moment when it looks dead and it looks like it can go to zero, basically. This is the moment you want to start buying in, okay? Can it go below 1 cent? Yes, it can. But in my personal opinion, this 1-2 cent area will be the ultimate low bottom. It will be like this area right over here that we did have back in 2019, which is going to go sideways, boring, sideways action. It doesn't usually, in my personal opinion, it won't go below the ultimate low bottom from the bear market of 2019-2020. In this case, it is, you know, a fraction of a cent. I don't think it will hit those levels, all right? And it's not too far off from that range. So it should be holding above the ultimate bear market lows from 2019. This was, I mean, it wouldn't make sense if it went below that area, okay? My personal opinion. Digibyte is a very solid project with many companion applications. I know it is. I've been following Digibyte for ages. It's just been a very poor performing asset, you know, after the massive big spike that it did have. I was getting excited here when we were hitting that 16-17 cent range right there. Very excited, but then I didn't like this price action. Didn't sell any of my bags. Sold the bag all the way down here at 4 cents. But I did buy, you know, round about this range. That is, you know, what is it? Yeah, April in 2020, just before the summer hype, the DeFi hype. So I did sell in a profit, but I didn't sell the top. It is one of those cryptos there. Yeah, I didn't make gains, but it wasn't the best decisions. I actually switched Digibyte for some other crypto. Hi Andy, what did you study and could you take a look at SCRT? I've just been doing all sorts of technical analysis. I've got a bunch of books here. I mean, I've got you know, a couple of dozen of books. Dozens of books. I would say this one is the old school, you know, book, technical analysis from John Murphy, and this is the actual Bible. You've got all sorts. There's stuff that doesn't really work right now, but you've got Elliott Wave, you've got all sorts right there. And Wyckoff also. Wyckoff, this is an absolutely great book. Método Wyckoff, it's in Spanish. It all tells you all about, you know, accumulation, schematics. It tells you a lot about volume. Wyckoff traded with volume basically, and that is my 100% is volume basically. Volume and price action is my what I focus on the charts. Okay, I like to see VPVR of course, but that is my main reason. So yeah, Wyckoff, there's all sorts, just a bunch of books, you know, a bunch of books. And just go through and practice through the charts. You need to buy more books. Too much echo. Yeah, exactly. I am actually going to put a couple of shelves. I'm going to put a couple of shelves, and yeah, there's too much echo. Yeah, very true. Thank you for letting me know. Ocean Protocol, Marco Richard. Let's take a look at Ocean. I do have actually a bag of Ocean Protocol on my ledger. I do have some Ocean Protocol. I'm very bullish on this project. Let's take a look at Ocean. How about doing some Ledger Nano giveaways? Shall I do some Ledger Nano giveaways? This is the thing. I think I need to give back to my community. I will start, you know, soon. I will. What do you think about doing giveaways for the community? I haven't done any single giveaway for the community. I think they're very much will appreciate Ledger Nano, for example, giveaway. So let me know in the comment section. Shall I start doing some giveaways for the community? Let's take a look at Ocean Protocol. Like I said, I'm pretty bullish on this project. It's all got to do with data, automatic DeFi data, you know, getting, it's not similar to Chainlink because Chainlink's an oracle, but I think it will have an important role to connect data with the real world data with cryptocurrency, with blockchain. Very bullish on Ocean Protocol. Now, Ocean Protocol right now had this uptrend. It had a pretty nice uptrend right there, and it broke, this uptrend, and it's, pretty clear right now that Ocean is massive downtrend, creating these lower highs. Now, my personal opinion, I think it's not going to go much lower from 50 cent. Why don't you think it's going to go much lower? Because this is a very, very solid point of control, as you can see. A lot of accumulation at that area. This ride over here was a reaccumulation on Ocean Protocol. Massive, big reaccumulation. This is why price went absolutely bananas after this reaccumulation. And I personally think that some of those will be held very, very nicely. Some of those is all the way at 35 cents. But because we have such a big point of control, in my personal opinion, we are just going to have an accumulation zone at this range before we start picking up. Now, if we do have a bounce from this level, my question is, will Ocean Protocol have enough steam to get above, this lower high resistance? It's no doubt in my mind that we are going to see Ocean Protocol back above $1 in the near future. My question is, will we have enough steam to break above this lower high? So there's no doubt in my opinion that this range, between 50 cent and 60 cent is just going to be an accumulation, and we will have that bounce, and you could 2x your money in the next coming months. My personal opinion here on Ocean. Very, very strong project, very good, very bullish things coming for Ocean Protocol. So no doubt it's going to be a very good project. I have here +1 if you want giveaways, said +1. Absolutely, it is time to give back to the community. I will be doing a giveaway to my moderators as well. I got, a huge team of moderators. I got about 8 moderators, 7 moderators. They deserve a giveaway as well. I'd love one. Was just talking about a ledger, said the Stormkeeper. Yeah, my favorite wallet, you got that. My favorite cold storage wallet is the Ledger Nano, that is for sure. Let me guess, moderators are not allowed to participate. I think I will do one giveaway for just the moderators. You absolutely deserve this, guys. Moderators have been, super helpful. Wow, this is new, says Seb. Yes. Hey, giveaways in a bear market. Why not? I will be doing a giveaway very soon. I'm not sure if it will be next week or the week after, but definitely one of those random, comment in the comment section for a Ledger Nano giveaway. That is for sure. Andy, please analyze ADA. Let's take a look at ADA here for one of for who's this? Is it Rizwan? For Rizwan. Let's analyze ADA. ADA holding very nicely that $1 major level here for ADA. Look how many times we have been, bouncing at that range. It is very likely to hold, in my personal opinion. ADA will find, it will be pretty stable at $1. Now, to become bullish on ADA, I think we would have to regain this lower high, the $1.60 range. You look at these lower highs right there, lower highs. ADA would have to gain this lower high to start becoming bullish, in my personal opinion. As soon as we start getting above this $1.60, and I think we're very far away from this level, we might be just consolidating here on ADA. Very boring crypto, ADA, at this moment. But we have been creating a big point of control right there, thanks to this massive volume traded. It's gonna be a stable coin for a long time. In my, I think, just above $1. The $1 area will hold very nicely. Very hard to say if ADA is going to start pumping. It's still in a massive downtrend, so stay very cautious with any pumpy action to this area. I think it's very likely you're just going to create another lower high right there, and you're just going to enter a massive long consolidation before you start picking up. That's what I think is going to happen for ADA. bullish things happening for ADA in the near future, that is for sure. So smash up that like button if you want giveaways. That is right. That is right, guys. Let's try and get all the way to 300 likes. If we get to 300 likes, you know, before the end of the stream, I will be doing a giveaway by next week. Okay. So, yes, Veracity is interesting for this few days. Let's take a look at Veracity. I think Veracity did have pretty nice pumpy action. Let's see if it is having a nice retracement right now. Wow, Veracity, like I said, sometimes these point of controls, these spikes, it just works like magic sometimes. Look at this spike over here on the point of control on the VPVR. They sometimes just work like magic. Look where we stopped, exactly to that, one of the biggest points of control here, just above 3 cents, getting that retracement. Now you might think, where are we going to and where are we going to get a bounce? Well, I think just by looking at this chart, it is very, very likely that if we do retrace a little bit lower to the 2.5 cents, we should be getting a pretty nice bounce at that level for Veracity. It's not the best looking chart because you are creating massive lower highs. As you can see, we didn't manage to get above this lower high, but it could be the start of a major uptrend. So if you are willing to risk here something, a good area, in my personal opinion, is getting this range, the 2.5 cents. You know, we get a fib level from the low to the high. I think, you know, 2.5 cents has a very big high chance at the 618 to get a major bounce and create a higher low to retest the highs and potentially, you know, break it. So that is my take on Veracity. It's had some pretty nice pumpy action, looking pretty good. +1 if you want a giveaway. Yes, exactly, guys. Awesome. Love to have one nano ledger. Absolutely. They are great. Yup, deserves a like, says Mirth. Andy, your views on India crypto regulations, how this will impact in coming years. I think, you know, crypto regulations will have to come at the end of the day, okay? But it's not going to be bad. It's not going to be good. It's just, it will be neutral in my opinion. It's just going to be something neutral. Can you take a look at SLP, Ibrahimovic? Let's take a look at SLP. SLP, not a fan of this token. It's having a little bit of pumpy action right now, currently at 2 cents. Stay very cautious because this is a highly inflationary token. Smooth the love potion for Axie Infinity. I think Axie Infinity has lost a huge amount of interest. I think it's below $50. Axie, oh, it's $64 right now, Axie Infinity. But Smooth the Love Potion, SLP, is a highly inflationary token. It's up 31%, but I think it's just been getting devastated for the last year, basically. And it's having a little bit of pumpy action right now. It's having, you know, it's gone from 1 cent to 2 cents, so it's doubled right there in just a few days. Yeah, stay cautious. This has an infinite supply right there. So if it pumps, a lot of people, every time it pumps, people want to empty their bags. It's a token that you gain on the Axie Infinity game. So stay very, very cautious on these pumps. They will be get dumped back down, in my personal opinion. Infinite supply on SLP. Can you look at SLP? SLP has been looked at. Andy, don't you think that CPI data that is being released on Thursday is going to tank the market? Very possible. It is very, very possible. Let's take a look at Bitcoin here straight away. S&P 500 is having a little bit of pumpy action at this moment. Yeah. What I think, like I said, for Bitcoin is that we are going to consolidate or retrace in between 41.5, you know, and 43, where we're currently trading at this moment, and have a pretty nice leg up. Okay, will this be a kind of an, I'm not going to say it's going to inverse head and shoulder, but I think this is what the kind of movement that I'm expecting, guys. Like I said, when you're starting the trend, when you're starting a trend, guys, I know a lot of people. Hang on, let me just ask you one question. Special request from BitBoy Crypto, bake USDT. You got that right. Yeah. Let me just ask, you know, are you bullish? Are you bullish, basically, for the coming weeks? I'm going to ask this on the poll. Are you bullish for the coming weeks? Okay, or for, yeah, on the coming weeks, you know, for the next 2 weeks. Let me ask you, because are you bullish for the next 2 weeks? I am asking my community right now here on a poll, because I am bullish for the next couple of weeks. Of course, be cautious with the big retracements and big wicks. Okay, you are going to see those kind of retracements and big wicks, but I think what usually happens when you're going to start a new uptrend and get a pretty aggressive uptrend, always at the start of a potential new uptrend, people are not bullish. People are doubting. People are still too bearish. People don't believe that you are going to have some bullish momentum. And you get it, but people are usually bullish when the trend has already had, you know, massive few days or massive couple of weeks being bullish with bullish momentum. And then, you know, when it's so bullish, when a trend is so bullish, then yeah, you become bullish when you're too late. Basically, you've had so much bullish weeks that you I mean, yeah, you're basically late to the trend. And this is, you know, I missed out entirely on this trend. If you're not a subscriber, Mark Dutch knows that I was, you know, I was so conservative, waiting for $38,000 for a major wick there to get in, you know, at the lowest bottom, and I missed out big time on this big pump for October, right? October, which was in October. So yeah, this is, I think, something similar. It won't be this aggressive. It won't be this aggressive, but you could see some bullish momentum like this with very small retracements. Remember, retail trader needs to be very bullish. Retail trader right now is still scared in my opinion. I think a retail trader is still scared. I know we are already getting these YouTubers, you know, calling for crazy levels and that this is it, you know, this is the start of a massive bull trend. But most of the YouTubers are bullish anyway. So you might find out, you know, that a lot of the YouTubers were bullish here, we're extremely bullish here, we are very bullish here, calling for reversals. So yeah, why not? They're going to be bullish here anyway, especially when they're going up. So yeah, bullish, you know, these usually influencers are usually bullish. So yeah, it doesn't matter. They have to be right at some point, right? Because they're bullish all the time. Picasso pattern from Mark Dutch. Yeah, we do have a Mark Dutch. I wish you could share your Picasso pattern. Last one worked out very well. Why is BTC having a hard time trying to break 43.6? Very good question. Let's go here to the chart and take a look at Bitcoin. Why are we having a big time, you know, to break 43.6? I think it's pretty simple. I did have a box right there on Bitcoin. This is where we currently got rejected right there. This was a beautiful short position. If you go to my video on the 13th of January, you will see a short position on the video from the 13th of January because I shorted right there. Why did you short? Because of this major big candle with volume right there, massive big resistance level. It was also the 618 from the highs right there, the start of the pump to the lows, 618. You know, it was an absolutely perfect short position right there, taking some profits right over here. Why did I take profits here? Because we were just about to get a bounce at the top of this candle with this big volume. Okay, so this is why you need to have your targets. You know, that was a great short. Enter, out. You can take a look at the video from the 13th of January. You will know I am not lying. So why are we struggling to get above this range? Basically because it is a major level right here. It is. We do have a high volume from these candles on the 4 hourly. It is a major resistance zone, but don't worry. It's going to be a major consolidation range in my opinion. You know, 41.5, 41, and where we're currently at is going to be potentially a level where we might just consolidate for a bit or have a quick retracement to this range and get a massive bounce. I think this uptrend hasn't finished. We are going to see some more bullish momentum. I personally think, okay. Now, if we start losing $41,000, it's going to be looking a little bit scary. So let me just take a look at the poll here. And we got 89 votes at this moment. Are you bullish for the next 2 weeks? And 65% of the people saying yes, 35% saying no. So yeah, can we look at XRP, please, says Ellie. Absolutely. Let's take a look at XRP, see what XRP is. Who is bullish on XRP? Because XRP has been such a bad performer. I had a friend of mine ages ago bought a huge bag of XRP for 40-50 cents. Okay, he bought some at 20 cents also when it was trading there for years. Basically, you know, it was at that 20-cent range for you know, part of 2019 and 2020. And, you know, bought more when it was pumping right there. Okay, it's going to moon. Never sold a bag of XRP, even though when it was at, you know, trading just above $182 range. Still holding that bag. Let's see if XRP is going to be, you know, something in the future. He has a huge amount of XRP. I do not hold any XRP at all. Now, XRP, looking at the daily, I think it's going to have a, you know, it's going to pull back down. Lower highs, lower high trend line, retesting some major support at that 50-60 cent range. It's just got a nice relief rally, a big nice bounce. It's very much expected when you're retesting the support right there. I don't think you are going to break it very soon. You're just going to get a nice bounce. You're going to create a lower high, come back down, you know, you might get a bounce right there, lower high, and this is a massive bearish big pattern right there. It's in a bearish trend with the lower highs, so stay cautious with this. Yeah, not looking too great. So what about ICP? ICP got absolutely crushed. Let's take a look. Go. Thanks, Andy, Mark, Rene, Montenegro, and the rest of the crypto legends. Smash that like button as if it was your boss. Thank you very much, Seb, for the insane support. Right, SCRT for Here. What is SCRT? SCRT, US dollar. I'm trying to take a look at a lot of these cryptos, guys. This one got a beautiful bounce from this $4.7 range, because it was the all-time high all the way back here in March of 2021. We can see nice all-time high there, here. Beautiful bounces from this level. One there, you're getting one right over here. And you're currently getting resistance from this point there. I think this one will come back down to potentially retest the lows, getting heavily rejected from $7. The secret network right there, very bad, ugly double top, lower high right there. I think this one is poised to continue to the downside after this relief rally. I have no idea about this project, but yeah, chart doesn't look too great. Right. Hi Andy, does no volume mean no one is selling? Or depending if we are in an uptrend or if we are in a downtrend. If we are going in a down, if we're going down and there's no volume, this means that there's no selling pressure. So let me just give you a quick example here on Bitcoin on the 4 hourly. So if there's no volume, or depending on where you're looking at the volume, you can see the volume right over here. And like I said, you know, if you do have big volume while you're going up, this means that the interest, the demand is there with high volume. There is actually real big volume coming in. When you go sideways or you're retracing and there's very low volume, this means that the selling pressure is very, very low. This means that it is likely to gain more value in the very near future. This means that the people are not selling. So this is why, you know, we did talk about this being a potential bull flag, because big volume on the spike, you are going sideways here with very low volume. This means that it's very likely to continue up. You're not gonna have you know, a big correction, very likely, because of you haven't got the selling pressure, right? No volume right there. And you know, when you're selling, it's the same thing here. I got stopped out here because this very much looked like it was going to roll back down, but like I said, big volume here, selling pressure, big volume. What happens here on the retracement, the bullish side? Very low volume, very low volume. This was just about to roll back down, but then we saw the bulls come back in. The reason why this was already a risky trade to short, and I had a tight stop loss, very small loss, you know, I was shorting right there. Stop loss was around about this level, so very small position. Stopped out right there. The reason why this was risky, when you're shorting, you know, and you have been going down for ages, this is the risk that you do have. This is why tight stop losses is very important. You are shorting basically the very end of the trend, so it could be very risky. It has been going down for 3 months right now. It's very risky. This is why it is better right now to long. Okay, we are looking for long positions because we could have a beautiful nice uptrend in the next coming weeks. It's the best. You want to try and short right here, the start of a downtrend, or long the start of an uptrend right here. And this is why we could potentially be at the verge of a potential new uptrend for the coming weeks. And we want to take advantage of this. We want to take advantage. So yes, if you say bullish, would that be so easy for BTC to break 45.5? That level was a support and tested at least 10 times in December. Yeah, exactly. This is the thing. It's a major level, major level. It's not going to be that easy, but I think a consolidation at this range and then a breakout is very likely. I think it's going to happen. We do know it's very strong. It's going to be very hard. So we have one retest. We've just retested it once. If we consolidate and retested it for the second time, then, you know, more probabilities there is by retesting it a few times. So hopefully it will be broken in the next coming days, maybe next week. We don't really know. But yeah, I think fib levels from the high here to the low. We have the 382, and this is just above 46. It's going to be very difficult to get above this range. 382, we got a big point of control on the VPVR right there. It's not going to be easy, but I think it will be broken. Resistance and support levels are there to be broken. I think if this were to be the start of a trend, I think it could get broken. It could get broken. Now expect volatility, expect Bitcoin to retest the 41.5 levels. It could happen. It could very much happen and consolidate at that range before we continue up. So stay cautious, guys. Stay very cautious. It's going to be a wild ride. It won't be easy. It won't be easy. That is for sure. So it's currently having a little bit of dippy action right now. Thanks a ton, Amit. Thank you very much. Any thoughts about Sushi Swap? I think Sushi Swap is a great DEX. I think it will do well in the future. Uniswap, Sushi Swap, very important DEXs on the Ethereum blockchain. They will do well. We are currently in a kind of bearish sentiment market, so just stay cautious. Make sure to have some stable coins on the sidelines. Hi Andy, could you take a look at SCRT? I've just taken a look at SCRT. It was, yeah, SCRT. We did take a look at this one. I think it's just hitting a major resistance zone right here, and correcting. I think this one does have a chance to come back down to retest the lows. Just getting heavy rejected at $7. I think it can come back down to these levels. Ethereum short, what do you think? The 3080 support is now resistant. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at Ethereum. Long time no see. Long time no see. Let's take a look at Ethereum. Let's take a look at Ethereum straight away. Hang on a second, guys. Let's see what's going on with Ethereum. I think Ethereum's looking pretty bullish. We gained fantastically the $2,800. Why is $2,800 such a big resistance zone? Because it has been right there, resistance and support. Currently got above this red box, okay? Got rejected once. Now currently above. Now I think not the 3,000 but the $2,800 is a major support for Ethereum. If Bitcoin does come down to 41.5, Ethereum might come down to 2,800 and we'll get a very strong support right there, potentially for another leg up, guys. I think this is not the end of the uptrend. Could we see a big massive lower high if we do have some bullish momentum? Of course we can. We might be coming bullish, you know, right at these levels, but I think this is just the start of an uptrend, okay? That is my take here, guys. Make sure to play the safe game. SHIB, massive crash. Let's take a look at Shiba Inu. Shiba is having a massive crash. Let's take a look at Shiba. Massive correction on Shiba. Well, massive crash. No, it's a massive correction. But like I said, volume is lower. Big volume. This is no crash. This has been pumping like crazy for the last couple of days. So yeah, no crash here. I think Shiba might be entering a good opportunity if it comes to slightly lower levels. Looking pretty good. Look at the consolidation here from Shiba at the 2.5, 2.6 levels right there. Major zone, major consolidation. Managed to get above that area. It might enter a good buy zone right there. Shiba Inu consolidation at that range. So yeah, how about XRP? Just taking a look at XRP, guys. If you want to support the channel, you get the best deals down below on Prime XBT. You get 7% added to your deposit. I got a full tutorial. You can trade more than 50 assets here. You can trade oil, gold, and all sorts. And you are using crypto. You're using Bitcoin, Ethereum, or USDT or USDC stable coins as collateral, and you get 7% added to your deposit no matter what you deposit. Okay, up to $7,000. So you deposit $5,000, you're getting 7%, which is $350 on top of your deposit, which is absolutely great. You deposit $100, you're getting $7 on top of your deposit, which is great for trading. You can trade just with the bonus. Full tutorials down below, and on Bybit, you know the deal. You get the best bonus, also $4,100 worth of bonus with the Bybit link, guys. Guess who is live right now? It is Natalie from Bitcoinsensus. She is live. Make sure to ask her a lot of questions. She is doing, you know, Fibonacci on all sorts. She asked her about all of these altcoins, XRP. She will take a look at XRP also. Make sure to join her live stream. I'm just going to join there for 5 minutes. Make sure to join Natalie from Bitcoinsensus live stream. Guys, thank you very much. Make sure to check out Bitcoinsensus website, and I will see you in the next one.